Past life regression and ego resistance. It's a really funny thing with past life regression that when somebody comes to me to have a past life regression session, it's their ego that wants to find out who they were in a past life or heal issues that might be rooted in a past life. But it's also the ego that after the session has its doubts. And I want to explain this phenomenon because it's kind of interesting, it's funny, it can be a little frustrating. First of all, on one level, if you have past life regression, there's a part of you that will kind of never believe it. That might sound weird coming from somebody who's been doing past life regression hypnosis for over 11 years. But it's not that you won't believe it at all, but it's just kind of your ego is the part of you that focuses on this incarnation. And for most people, that is the center of the identity. And so the ego will resist any kind of aspect of itself that it is not in control of. The ego wants to be in control. The ego wants to say, this is me, this is my life, this is how it works, and so forth. And I know what's going on. Now, when you go into a past life, it's not the same ego. It's the same spirit, but it's a different ego. Every lifetime, every incarnational personality has its own ego. So, the most common thing that the ego will do after you experience past life regression is it will say, well, I made that all up. And the funny thing is that when you go over the session, when I go over the session with a client, and I say, well, did you come here with the intention of making things up? And 100% of the time they say, no, I didn't. Were you trying to make things up during the session? No. So this idea of I made it all up. Now, if you lie to somebody, you know the truth, you know that you're lying, you know probably why you're doing it. It's kind of clear. But when somebody goes through past life regression, on some level, it's almost like an assault on the ego. It really isn't, but to an ego, it can feel like that. So the ego will try to take control by saying, well, I made it all up. What's interesting is that there will be details in a session in a past life, in almost every case, where the person would definitely not make that up. For example, I had somebody go to a past life where they were shot by the Nazis in the Holocaust. This person was forced to strip down and stand in line, waiting to be executed. Pretty horrible. And releasing the imprint of that issue was very helpful to the client. But the thing that you wouldn't make up is that at one point, standing in that line, the client got bored and impatient and was kind of complaining that the line was so long that it was taking forever. And it was not that the person wanted to die sooner, But it was that kind of normal human reaction if you were standing in a line for 8 hours, no matter what kind of line it is. This is the kind of thing that you would never make up. I'm standing in a line to be executed and I'm bored because the line's taking too long. I mean, who the hell is going to make that up, right? It's never going to happen. And there's always something like that in a past life regression session. So the ego might try to take credit or blame or whatever you want to call it, but in the end, you realize, well, even if I was making something up, there's no way in hell I would make that up. And so what you have to realize is that when you do past life regression, you're going beyond the realm of the ego, and it's a natural human egoic reaction to try to pull that back, for the ego to try to reclaim some turf. So anyway, that's one thing I wanted to share with you about past life regression. If you want to do past life regression in the LA area, you can reach me at andysway@yahoo.com, andysway at Yahoo, or go to my website, andysway.com, and follow all the instructions. Get in touch with me, and we'll set it up. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.